Welcome back, everybody, to A&M Reviews. It's Muhammad and Adrian, and we're here to review the Amazon Prime original, The Tomorrow War. But essentially, this movie's about the world is stunned when a group of time travelers arrive from the year 2051 to deliver an urgent message. 30 years in the future, mankind is losing a global war against a deadly alien species. So, what did you get from The Tomorrow War?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this movie, actually. I thought
That was a surprise?
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily expecting to enjoy it. Sometimes action movies on these streaming services, the bar is pretty low for what is going to be good and it's not. But I thought they did a decent job. It kind of felt like it had two parts. Like it was a really big shift in the storytelling. I didn't quite see where it was going at first, but they touched on PTSD and this time travel. They obviously time travel doesn't exist, so there aren't real rules, but they broke a lot of the rules that we usually acknowledge with time travel, which is pretty interesting. And there were no repercussions for that. It resolved itself pretty interestingly, but yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely interesting. This brings you back to really the movie theater, those big summer blockbuster movies. This fits in that category. And I think this was originally planned to be in movie theaters, but Amazon bought it, and then they just put it on their streaming service because this had a really big budget, $200 million. So they didn't pay all that money.
They definitely used it. I mean, the graphics, everything, how it looks, I could tell.
Yeah, definitely. I think the alien design is pretty good. I mean, it's hard to be original because there's been so many other alien movies, but
True.
It's still good as far as the alien design. And I did like the story for the most part. I think I like the comedy in it. The comedy in it in parts, but the middle was really slow for me. I feel like it was kind of necessary, but maybe not. I don't know. The middle was very slow, but I really like the action, the fast pace part at the beginning, how they just go straight into it. They don't waste any time. And you're just on a roller coaster ride throughout the whole film with these monsters just lurking around.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I guess it slowed down a lot. I don't know if I thought it was quite as boring, but it definitely slowed down a lot in pace in the middle because of how they were telling the story. Some parts a little bit predictable, some elements not so much. I enjoy J.K. Simmons in this. Everyone wants to try to be Batman now, I guess. He definitely was.
He's Batman?
Well, he kind of had that persona, working underground against the law, doing the right thing.
You mean not going to get drafted? That's the right thing?
Well, I don't think Batman would. I don't think he would. I think he'd try to, end the war himself.
Well, he would definitely lose in this situation.
Or he would get drafted as Bruce Wayne and then fake his death. And then just be Batman full time. That's what I could see happening.
Yeah. I think this is a retired Batman. The stage beyond Ben Affleck. But any other thoughts before we go ahead and get into the spoilers?
No, let's do it.
All right, so basically this movie starts out with these time travelers, people from the future who are fighting this war from 2051, showing up in the middle of the World Cup.
I thought it was very interesting they chose to use the Cup games as the catalyst for all this. They could have picked any moment in time and they chose that one, which is interesting. I guess that it might have maybe the most international audience at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the main reason why, because they would think that the whole world is watching. But really, Chris Pratt is the main character here, and he's going for this job. I forgot exactly what it was for, but I didn't think that he had enough experience for it, and he got instead of the normal rejection email, they gave him the rejection call.
Yeah, I mean, well, he was going to do research for Harvard, I think, is what he wanted. And not only they said he didn't get the job, but they told him, why he didn't get it and why the other person got it instead. So it was insult to injury, and it didn't really add much to the rest of the story. It definitely didn't have to happen, I think, because he's just kind of sad and then watched the TV. But I mean, he could watch TV for other reasons. So that was an interesting detail to put it in there. It humanizes him a little bit, but. And then, that happens, and he goes back inside at the Christmas party that he's at his house with his wife, his daughter, and friends, whatever. Sit down, watch the World Cup, and we have this announcement from the future. Essentially, the sky opens up, which looks like an alien attack, but it is Americans in the future who honestly grant themselves the authority to start drafting people for the war in the future. So these are people who aren't born yet, who came here to get people because of this war against the aliens. They're losing and they don't have many people left, and they need to go back in the past to get people to fight them. And essentially they come up with this plan where we'll take people from the past, put them there 7 days in the war, and bring them back, whoever survives, pretty much. And terrible plan, terrible idea, awful. Puts the world into chaos, into war. But at first they united because of the alien threat, but then they go to war. One of my favorite lines was whenever they're being drafted with this process. One of the people says, "Why don't you show us pictures of the enemy that we're fighting?" And they said, well, basically like a focus group, or the leadership thought that if you all saw what you're fighting, no one would come. Well,
what?
I'm not.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you wouldn't come, but you're forcing them anyway. So,
right.
What's the point?
Right. That's terrifying.
Thanks for watching. And if you would like to be featured on our podcast, make sure to click the link in the description.